Welcome back to another video, guys. My name is Ben from Flow Brackets, and today we've got in this beautiful Z06 Corvette, and I'm going to be showing you how to do a OEM plinth delete on this car. If you guys don't know what an OEM plinth is, this is a plinth provided by the manufacturer to mount your number plates, and it's humongous. And it doesn't really suit Australian number plates. It also has a bend in it. Usually, most people will get this box, get a normal standard or slimline number plate and just bend and contour it to it. But in some cases, when you have specialty plates that can't be bent, it causes a bit of a problem. So we've come up with a few solutions. We've already finished developing a different version of a miniature plinth, which makes you remove this OEM plinth, but also the panel behind it. And this miniature plinth will clamp to the grille and allow you to run the smallest number plates in Australia. All you need to do is get the appropriate bracket that matches the style and size of your number plate. So if you're running this small number plate, for example, you get the matching bracket, you bolt it onto the miniature plinth, then you bolt your number plate to that. And this version of the miniature plinth that clamps to the grille will allow you to do that. So if you haven't already watched that video, we'll link you in the description below. But this video is going to be about a different style of miniature plinth. So we've realized that there is a group of people that only want to remove the ugly box, but retain the panel behind it and shrink it down to something like this. But there are some limitations with this design. This design is primarily for those people that have normal slimline plates, and it's short enough to be covered by one, but if you move to a smaller footprint number plate, then it will be visible, and this is probably not the miniature plinth for you. That's when you'll need to go down to the smaller version like it, where it's completely hidden. With that small explanation out of the way, let's get on to removing this OEM plinth and replacing it with our miniature part. So uninstallation of the OEM plinth is pretty straightforward. If you have a number plate on it, first remove the number plate so that you can gain access to these 3 bolts holding it on. You'll need a 7mm socket to remove them. I'm sure there's an imperial size somewhere that someone in the comments is going to let me know what that size is, but for now we'll use a 7mm and take out the 3 screws. Once you take out the 3 screws or bolts, the plinth will just simply drop off, so make sure that you're holding it on when you undo the last screw. Oh, haven't undone that one. Let's undo that one a bit more. And a little bit more. There we go. And then it comes off. Just make sure that you keep these aside for later because we will be reusing them. Installation of this part is pretty simple. You've got these 2 feet on the top, or 2 hooks that will go into that hole and that hole. And you've got these 2 locators that will marry up with these 2 holes here. So to install it, just clip it into the top holes first and then push it on, and it'll sort of support itself. Then the 3 screws that I was talking about earlier to put aside, we're going to reuse that to go back into the OEM holes. Now, for some reason, if you do not have these screws for whatever reason, we will supply you with extras. So now that I've shown you how to mount the miniature plinth onto the car, it's time to move on to the next step, which is mounting number plate brackets too. But before I get into that, let's just talk a little bit more about the miniature plinth. It is a 2-part mounting solution, and that means that you can't buy the miniature plinth by itself. You have to buy it with a number plate bracket that matches the style and size of your number plate. So when I say a bracket that matches your number plate size and style, if you had JDM plates or US import plates, you'd buy the JDM and import bracket that matches this style of size. This JDM and import bracket will be the same bracket for JDM and import sizes. I know there's a few different sizes amongst the states, but it's still the same bracket. You cut that bracket and mount it to the miniature plinth so that you can mount your number plate on. If you had a different size of number plate, like these slimlines, commonly, the most common number plate size in Australia would be 372 by 100, which uses the SL2 bracket. You bolt that on first, and then you bolt the number plate on as a set. So miniature plinths are specific to the car, and number plate brackets are specific to the number plate. for like this, for example. This is a standard size number plate. Again, a very common size in Australia. You grab the standard bracket, bolt it to the miniature plinth so that you can bolt the number plate on, and that completes the two-part mounting solution. Now, there are some limitations with this miniature plinth. It is quite wide only because of the hole or cavity that was in that panel that we needed to cover. So if you have a small footprint number plate like this 3 to 4 character slimline plates in Victoria, there's a bracket that goes with it. Generally, all of our brackets are slightly smaller than our number plate. You will see excess material of that miniature plinth on either side. We've done our best to taper it as much as we can, but you will still see some excess material. I don't think it looks that good. If you are running a small footprint number plate like this, 3 to 4 character, traditional black in New South Wales or signature plates, it's probably best that you go to the miniature plinth that we designed that clamps onto the grille, which means that you will have to remove this panel behind here so that this miniature plinth can clamp onto the bumper so that you get the best floating look possible. But if you're not in that category and you just got slimline plates or standard plates, then this is definitely the plinth for you. Just grab the number plate bracket that matches the style and size of your number plate and bolt it on. Let me show you a few examples. So the first one I'm going to do is the import plate bracket, which is the bracket that you're going to have to use for JDM plates or US import plates. Some sizes may vary across the states, but it'll all use the same bracket. And the bracket will be smaller than the number plate. Next up that we've got is the standard size number plate bracket. Just pick a height that aligns with the brass fittings in the miniature plinth. Before you guys check out, do check out our range of optional accessories that's part of our ecosystem. So we do sell anti-theft and security screw fittings that go into the four corners. That requires you to have a security key to open it, which is included in the pack if you do select that option. And all of our brackets are compatible with Ultrix and Kingpin covers. Next up, we've got our South Australian slimline plate. This is going to use the SL0 number plate bracket. Now, this is probably the shortest in height number plate. So I'm going to show you how that looks on this. I think it's just enough to cover the miniature plinth. Again, align it to one of the slots that's in the brackets you're choosing, wherever you think is best. They are, you know, all optional and adjustable, so if you want it higher or lower, you can just pick a different slot. But before you tighten off, just make sure that you center the bracket. There is a middle marking in almost every bracket that we sell. It's going to help you align it perfectly center. So once you get your bracket on, you can now mount your number plates to the brackets. I think in this position, it looks probably a little bit too low, so we might just adjust it up a slot. The reason why we have 4 brass fittings in the plinth is so that you can have that minor adjustment. If you move one slot completely up, it's quite a lot, but the extra brass fitting should be about half a slot. Now, the last plate I'm going to show you is the Victorian slimline plate. It's 372 mil from left to right and 100 mil tall. Now, this is the most common size number plate in Australia, and this is going to use the SL2 bracket. So you're going to have to pick up this bracket. Again, choose a brass or add slot combination that you're happy with. I think I'm going to go there. Put your bolts in loosely. You might have to back it off a little bit so that you can adjust it from left to right and make sure it's completely center. And there's a middle marking in almost every bracket. It's going to help you align it to the center. From there, mount your number plate on to the 4 corners. Again, there are optional accessories you can choose with this combination. So when you check out or adding items to your cart, just check out the optional accessories like anti-theft, security screw fittings and covers. And all of our brackets again are compatible with Ultrix and Kingpin covers. And that's how you do a OEM plinth delete on a C8 Z06 Corvette. Now, we do sell a miniature plinth in 2 sizes for 2 different reasons. There is a miniature plinth that is small enough to accommodate for almost every size of number plate in Australia. But to do that, you will have to remove this this panel or piece at the back so that this miniature plinth can be clamped to the grille. And this is gonna make your number plates sit further back and look super clean. But for the people that want to retain this panel on, we have made a miniaturized version of the OEM plinth, but it does have some limitations. For example, you can't run a very small footprint number plate on it because you'll see excess material on either side of the number plate. We have tapered it in as much as we can to hide that fact. So if you still choose to use this plinth with a small number plate, it's not as bad as having this big ugly box, but again, limitation nonetheless. But it's more suited for the people that want to retain the panel and run a slimline or standard or import size number plate. So I hope you found this video useful, and thanks for watching.